Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR Heat 5 career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we have the Brickyard 400 Indianapolis Oval return for the first time in a few years in the NASCAR Cup Series, as well as an announcement of a new team buying the second charter that was for sale from Stewart-Haas Racing. Meyer Shank Racing will enter the NASCAR Cup Series next season. Of course, they have a strong heritage in the Indianapolis area, having an IndyCar team. You see the car right there. I scratched out the driver name. We already know who's going to that car, and that will be announced in the playoffs. But Meyer Shank Racing, I mean, have a strong history here in this area, of course, with the IndyCar presence. They are leaving IMSA in 2024 in real life, and now here in the storyline, they've come over to the NASCAR scene kind of in replacement of that here. Now, I kept thinking they were leaving IndyCar. For some reason, that's not the case. They're leaving IMSA. But we rolled through into practice, and overall pretty happy with this Top Golf Chevrolet Camaro here this weekend. We do have Xfinity Series, but they were actually in Watkins Glen. I'm going to try and start coordinating those races to be together, so they're kind of more in sync for the future episodes starting in the next one, with Watkins Glen. So actually, it'll be 2 episodes from now when it's actually in sync. But yeah, practice overall, felt happy with the car. We beat the goal time, but we were losing about a tenth of a second every lap that we were running, and I only did 3 laps, so it was a pretty small sample size here in practice, but that's what I would find, as you can see here in the timings. About a tenth, a little over a tenth slower each lap that we ran there. So we'll see how that's going to affect us, in the race. But of course, we have to put up a good qualifying effort to have a good race now as we start our qualifying lap. The goal, a 53.149. NASCAR Heat 5 Indianapolis Oval, always been a good combination for me, and the original career mode we had won here in the Brickyard 400, I think multiple times if I'm not mistaken. So I'm feeling pretty confident coming into this one, but some tracks that I've gone into the season with confidence, it hasn't always gone quite to plan, so we'll see if that's going to be another case of that here today in Indy. But we roll through turn number 4 on this rounded rectangular circuit, now down the front straightaway for the final time to the line. We dominate the goal, but what's that going to mean in the position P6, row 3 outside? I'll take that. One of our best qualifying efforts of the season. On pole position, Ross the Boss Chastain, Kyle Larson still winless P2, Gibbs, Buescher, Keselowski, the rest of the top 5. Hemrick qualifies P7. Usually Gibbs and Hemrick, them two, when they qualify really well, they seem to fade, so don't be surprised if we see that again today as we look down the rest of the order. Down towards the bottom of the grid, Todd Gilliland. So we're going to get ready to go into this weekend, going up against Kyle Larson, by the way, is who we're going up against in the bracket challenge here for the $3 million, so it's going to be hard to beat him today. Xfinity Series, Watkins Glen, Corey Heim picked up the victory in the Xfinity side of things. That's his second win of his rookie season in Xfinity for Joe Gibbs Racing. But now that allows us to focus in on the Brickyard 400, NASCAR's return to the Oval.
We're finally back at the Indianapolis Oval for the Brickyard 400, the return of a classic crown jewel in NASCAR.
Fans have been asking for this to return for a few years now, and NASCAR finally listened and brought it back with the next-gen car. I think we're in store for a great race, Rick.
I agree, Dale. I mean, how could you not be excited for this race to return? It should be a fun one.
We're ready to roll then here from Indianapolis, and let's dive straight into looking at the bracket. You see the pairings on the screen, but for us, specifically, we are going up against a very challenging Kyle Larson, who starts in second place. It's going to be pretty difficult, I think, for us to advance today, depending on the pace of that number 5 of Larson. Now, Joe Gibbs Racing in trouble. Denny Hamlin failed pre-race inspection. He's starting from the back, and Christopher Bell failed technical inspection. So both of those guys starting at the back of the field, and we get ready to roll from that 6th starting position, row number 3. Bubble driver Keselowski on the inside, but he should be okay to make the playoffs at this point unless we get some new winners. The green flag is out. We're underway for the Brickyard 400. Ross Chastain leads the field down towards turn 1. It's been a 3-win season for Ross Chastain. It's been impressive here for Trackhouse Racing this season. Of course, we can't say the same for his teammate of Daniel Suarez, who's got to win to get into the playoffs. Alex Bowman's got to win basically to get into the playoffs. Same for Kyle Busch last episode. He had to win to get into the playoffs. Well, what did Kyle Busch do? He went out and he won Michigan. He held off a hard-charging Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott late in that race and was able to pull it off, and he had the speed all day long. It's been a miserable season for Kyle Busch and Richard Childress Racing, but they showed up with some serious speed in Michigan and were able to capitalize on it, and Kyle Busch will have a chance to fight for a championship, although I don't expect him to go very far, to say the least. Out of turn 4 in this opening lap, a push to the back of the 6 right here, down the front straightaway, but look at this, I mentioned it earlier, usually a lot of the time when Ty Gibbs and Hemrick specifically qualify really well, they seem to struggle on race pace, and we were seeing an immediate struggle from the 54 of Ty Gibbs. Look at the gap between him and the cars ahead of Buescher, Larson, Chastain as well. This 54 is slow, and he is holding up this group of cars because he's running the bottom and the corners, backing up the inside. Then he jumps up to the outside, and we can't go anywhere. So he was just causing a big cluster of cars, and then out of turn 4, lap 2, I'm actually going to make a mistake, get up into the outside wall early here, and that destroys our momentum. Obviously, Logano goes through on the inside. LaJoie gets past. Elliott would drop down to the inside, passes Logano, catches the wall on the exit of turn 2 on lap 3, and now we slice 3 wide to the middle here with the Raptor machine of William Byron on the inside. Now he goes 3 wide in towards turn 3. Everyone's still stacked up behind this 54 of Ty Gibbs. Early, just kind of drama, weird kind of drama with that 54 car causing issues as I have to back out of the gas. Truex will go through on the inside. I nearly got into the left rear quarter panel of Corey LaJoie, but down to P13 because of this, and we have speed in this car. I mean, I think we have a top 5 car, and now we're losing 13th to AJ Allmendinger, my teammate. Moving forward there, we jump down to 14th, currently the worst running Colate car. We immediately get back to the inside, however, of AJ. We'll clear him and get to the inside of Truex, but the caution for the first time today is going to strike here in Indianapolis. Now P13 will not be coming into the pits. We have about usually 12 to 13 laps of fuel for a full tank here on the 3X wear and feel for the tires and whatnot when it comes to Indy. Chastain out in front, Larson, Buescher, Gibbs holds on to 4th as we'll get ready to go green. And Ty Gibbs as well, starting on the outside, could be a godsend to everybody right here because he'll probably now start to go backwards, and we're on the inside as well, so we just got to make sure that we get a good restart. We're back underway, already past halfway in stage number 1, 11 laps of racing in this opening stage. Daniel Suarez just behind myself in that UPS Chevrolet Camaro here as we come through turn number 1. Hemrick currently up in P5, having a good run here today, trying to move forward. He's already past Gibbs, so he's up into 4th place. Gibbs trying to get down to the inside, unsuccessful. William Byron opens up the doors, says thank you very much. He's going to walk right on in now as we exit turn 2 on this long run down this back straightaway. Of course, quite slow in a Cup Series car. You compare it to an Indy car going down this back straightaway or around the whole circuit, a major difference, of course, in the speeds now as we are on the inside of the 48 of Alex Bowman through 3. Bowman has been running, very solid lately, but it's just not going to be enough unless he finds a way to victory lane, and there's still a little bit of time. Of course, following today's episode here in Indianapolis, there will be just 2 races left in the regular season, Watkins Glen as well as Daytona. So next episode we will see the likes of SVG potentially back in the field, but as well Project 91, Project 91 is not going to be SVG because they're doing a special with Scott Dixon. Scott Dixon will be in the Project 91 car actually going into Watkins Glen next episode, but we might still see some supercars presence with Brody Kostecki, and next season expecting to see the likes of not only Kostecki a bit more often, obviously SVG very likely to go full time, but we might see Cam Waters as well in the roster, just like real life now. So a lot of exciting things. A big supercars presence coming into the Cup Series now as we blow past the 54 of Ty Gibbs. Now, if Ty Gibbs can get a stage point out of this first stage, I would be quite impressed with the poor speed in that car now, was actually giving some nice shoves down these straightaways to my teammate of Hemrick, trying to help him and help me at the same time, because we don't want to battle him, but we can push him up to the 9 and then we can go for a pass, but actually make a mistake right there, hit the apron, slide up the track now, and that's going to allow Gibbs back to my inside as we come through turn number 4. Actually a little bit of contact right there through the center of the corners. I turned down a little bit too much, and now that allows him to go past and Joey Logano to go past as well. So now back to P10 here. We'll get right to the back of the 22, give him a nice little shove. Look at the difference. Once you start bump drafting down a straightaway in Indy, it's game on. You absolutely fly now, but passing even a slow car on the inside can be quite a challenge, and I would eventually, though, get enough of a run down the back straightaway to get past his 54, put him down to P10. Hemrick has dropped into 8th. Kyle Larson had taken the lead with 2 to go, coming to the white flag of stage number 1. Larson's been so strong all season long. He's been absolutely dominating this regular season championship. He's almost 100 points ahead of second place William Byron coming into this episode, and he's only going to increase that gap right here out of turn 4. Kyle Larson, the long run down the front straightaway. He's going to win this first and opening stage here from the Brickyard 400. P8 for us, relatively happy with that performance there as we cross the stripe. So some adjustments needed, however, going into stage 2. Yeah, we just need to tighten it up a little bit. It was a bit too free.
Yep, we'll adjust on it a bit for you.
So we will tighten up the car just a tad bit. You see Larson, Chastain, Buescher, Byron, LaJoy for Andretti Global up there in P5. But you see the wedge going from a 40.9 to a 50.3. A little bit of a grill tape adjustment. As well as down a little bit on the right side tire pressures. Now, as you can see, everybody obviously heading into the pits there. Vargas 7 laps down out of the race. That's helpful for the point situation now. But yeah, P7, we actually leapfrog Logano there. He loses a spot. Chastain beats Larson out of the pit lane, so he leads the way for stage 2. Of course, Chastain started pole position, now back out in front. We actually have less laps in stage 2 than stage 1. Not very often we say that in the career mode, actually. So only 10 laps, just 1 less lap here in this second stage now. So everybody will be good on feel to the end of stage 2. Stage 3 is where it gets to be a bit questionable, but it is going to be close. There is a potential that we don't actually have to pit in stage 3, but we'll have to wait and see, of course, now. As Chastain leads the way in that Busch Light machine down this back straightaway. Of course, the Busch Light car in the Busch Light Bracket Challenge trying to advance today. But of course, the focus for us is Kyle Larson in this Busch Light Bracket Challenge here. We want to win the $3 million that's up for grabs for winning this bracket challenge. Let me know how you guys' brackets are looking, by the way. I'm sure that, honestly, I guarantee, maybe not guarantee, but I'm extremely confident. I haven't actually looked at where everybody's seated right now. But I'm very, very confident there's not going to be a single bracket that is correct, simply due to the Chase Elliott and Denny Hamlin casualties in that first round. And also let me know if we should continue this bracket challenge going into next season for season 3. I think it's just a little fun addition. Next season, I think I would like to do it earlier in the season, so we can have, the start of the season focus. Then we have the mid-season bracket challenge focus, and then we have the grind of the final handful of races to the end of the regular season focus, then the playoffs. There's kind of like separate focuses all season long, and there's not kind of like a lull in the schedule. There's kind of always something to be focused on, but that's just kind of my idea. Let me know down below what your thoughts are now. Up the inside of William Byron, Larson and Buescher have both gone through on Chastain. So Chastain's gone from P1 to P3. Buescher out in front. But how long will he hold on to that lead? Now, as I look at myself to the outside of the 24 Raptor machine. Down this back straightaway, we'll get that slipstream from LaJoy right to the back bumper. Not quite clear of the 24. Now we are. So we're free to go down to that inside into turn number 3. Of course, we'll do exactly that. Follow LaJoy through the inside line. Now, as ELLIOTT in the background with issues there, he's going around. It's a tire failure. Gibbs piles in as well, head on into the outside wall, and Chase Elliott's midsummer swing issues continue in Indianapolis. Now, this is not going to take him out of the race, but it is going to set him back tremendously. They're going to have to do some significant repairs as well as a new set of tires there. But ELLIOTT has been having a bit of a rough swing here, closing in on the playoffs. They've kind of lost all their momentum in the 9 team, and they've been able to rebound here and there. They had a 3rd place effort last episode in Michigan as we get back going for 4 laps to go in the stage, but ELLIOTT, at the end of the day, I mean, we talk about these issues, he's still the only Hendrick Motorsports driver with a win. Kyle Larson desperately wants to change that. William Byron wants to change that. Bowman wants to change it to keep his ride at Hendrick Motorsports. I think Kyle Larson, though, has the best chance to change it today here in Indianapolis. It seems like that 5 car is extremely quick. Although he won stage 1, he hasn't led at all in stage 2, but he has been hounding the back bumper of the leader of Chris Buescher that whole time before the caution came out. I think Kyle Larson is the guy to beat here today, but we have seen Larson be the driver to beat, a few times this season, and he was not able to pull through and win the race now. As you can see me chasing the car up the track, we got clear for 4th place, but struggled on the exit of the 2nd turn, and that allowed Logano to my outside, and he would use that outside to get clear of me on the exit of 4, and then that would bring Byron to my inside. But fortunately, I did have the slipstream here from the 22 to kind of pull me back ahead on the run down towards turn 1, so we would maintain the 5th position now. And up ahead on the final lap of stage 2 at this point, Chastain back to the lead. Larson's gone through, passing the 17 of Buescher, and we already know Larson's faster than Chastain, so what can he do down this back straightaway on the run towards turn 3? Does he have anything for the 1 car? The answer was no, at least on this final lap of stage 2. As we exit turn 4, Chastain, he'll hold off Larson and Buescher to win stage 2. We're going to drag race to the line with the Pennzoil machine of Joey Logano, and we're going to cross the stripe for P4 in stage number 2. Not looking for any adjustments at this point. The car drives well. It's not too loose, it's not too tight. It's kind of got that nice balance that we did not have in stage 1, and I feel like this is the first time in a handful of episodes where we've kind of got the balance right on the car, and I think it's showing. If you look at the last few episodes, I mean, we've been fighting for our life to get a top 10. And we've been successful with a little bit of pit strategy and whatnot. You know, last episode of Michigan comes to mind. You know, we didn't have a top 10 car in Pocono, didn't have a top 10 car in Michigan, although we did pull it off. So we gained 1 spot in the pits. Buescher down to 4th, us up into 3rd. Larson stays 2nd. Chastain, stage 2 winner, leads the field back to the green flag here. Now he's looking for win number 4 this season. Larson looking for 1. I'm looking for 3. Buescher looking for, I believe, his 3rd as well, if I'm not mistaken. Now as we come through 1 and head down that little short chute, of course, towards the 2nd corner. And you can see, I mean, look at the 5. He's just able to light it up on the exit right now, and through turn 2, I mean, he's just able to power down and go. Larson clear for 2nd. Buescher sneaks to my outside in the process as well. Down this back straightaway, he's probably going to get clear. I'm going to pull up to his left rear a little bit, but I decide it's just not worth it right now. I'm just going to tuck in behind him, and we'll just kind of sort things out here, let things settle in and see what we have, you know, in these closing, 13 laps of racing here from this Brickyard 400. Logano settles in behind in 5th. Buescher up the track actually a little bit right there, but that doesn't really create any opportunity as I nearly knocked the outside concrete wall down on turn 4 exit. We're going to head right to the back of this 17 here. Really reluctant to make moves right now because this car hasn't been capable of passing really on the inside unless it's on a really slow car such as Ty Gibbs in the 54. That was really the only time we were able to successfully do it. Now Larson to the inside of Ross Chastain as we exit turn 2 down this back straightaway 12 laps ago, and now here he goes. We're going to give a shot to the back of the 17. He's going to get right up on the back of the 1, so I'll dive to the inside on the run down towards turn number 3, right to the back of Larson. If I had more of a run a little bit earlier, we could have dove up the inside 3 wide and to see if anything worked, but now being pinned on the inside of Buescher, it's going to make it hard to actually complete the pass. Larson clear for the lead. Buescher gets the run out of turn 4. He stays clear for 3rd place now as we continue on. Buescher now to the inside of Chastain on lap 30 of 40. We're starting to run away from the cars from behind. Denny Hamlin has come from the back of the grid after failing pre-race inspection to now the top 5. That 11 car, a lot of speed. The Richmond winner, of course, from the spring race now up the inside of Ross the Boss Chastain on this run towards turn 3, and we're going to send it into the corner. This time we finally clear someone on the inside, and I think we kind of learned we just gonna have to sail it off in there and just make it stick, but unfortunately it's gonna be short-lived. Into the wall on the exit of turn 4 to start lap 31 just about, and that ruins our momentum. And here comes Dennis the Menace Hamlin to the outside. He's gonna clear us with 10 laps to go. Chastain stays put behind us. I kind of threw a big block on him right there. I knew if I had to block either Chastain or Hamlin, of course I'm gonna choose Chastain to ruin a race over. So on the run into turn 1, 9 to go, I actually missed the apex into turn 1, and it just gets a little bit worse because now here comes Chastain up the inside, and at this point Larson and Buescher are both driving away. Buescher is hounding the back of Larson, but he doesn't have quite enough speed to actually make a move on Larson, so he's just kind of staying put there. As you can see, Chastain, after he passed me, would showcase you know, the potential of that car, and now he's run down and passed Denny Hamlin. And I was just struggling just a little bit at this point. I didn't quite have enough in the car to get right to the back bumper of one of these guys and actually, you know, make a move. I could stay right about here. This is kind of where I was hovering for the next few moments. A little bit frustrating, but at the same time, kind of, you know, trying to keep it in mind, like, we're having a great day here. And P5, 6 laps of fuel, by the way, with 6 laps to go. So that is going to be a little bit interesting here. Now, do we have enough fuel? Is there going to be a caution? That was all up in the question right now, because when we hit 5 laps to go, we had 5 laps to fuel. So we should be able to probably make it just barely on fuel. It really depends when that fuel light comes on, because when that fuel light comes on, that means you got 2 laps of fuel from that very point basically now. So it's all going to depend on when that light comes on our screen. 4 laps to go. Larson continuing to just defend over Chris Buescher. Hamlin back in 3rd. Chastain down to 4th. We're all driving away from 6th place on back as we approach these final 3 laps here in Indianapolis. We had finally actually gotten back into the mix here with Chastain as well as Hamlin now through turn number 4, just trying to get this car to turn and hook up, and it allowed me to get right to the back of Chastain, and I sailed him up the inside of Hamlin. 3 laps of field, 3 laps to go, so we should be okay as we come through exiting turn 4. No fuel light, we still have 3 laps of fuel. We're gonna be okay. 2 laps of fuel now, but we would make it to the line, so we were fine. All the way to the final lap, it was a caution-free Stage 3 here in Indianapolis. We kind of ran in the same spot for the majority of the stage, it felt like now. A pretty calm stage, but we're gonna at least make it. Will anybody run out of fuel? That's the question now. Larson, though, leads the way out of turn 2. Unfortunately, this means unless he crashes on this, final lap, we will get eliminated from the Busch Light Bracket Challenge, which, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. It's hard to go up against Kyle Larson, and of course, when I decide to go up against him in the bracket, he decides he's going to go dominate the race. So, through turn 3 to the back of Hamlin, do we have an opportunity to get him as we come through the center of 3 and 4? Buescher hounding the back of Larson, but it's not going to be enough. The first time this season, Kyle Larson is going to win, and it's going to be a crown jewel victory in the Brickyard 400 at the Indianapolis Oval. A drag race to the line with Hamlin with the drive from Chastain. We get him at the line, just barely. P4 in Indianapolis. Larson, Buescher, Chastain, myself, Hamlin, your top 5. In the top 10, AJ Allmendinger as well. A great day for him as you see the rest of the order. Elliott rebounded to P21 after the tire failure, as you can see at the bottom of the grid. Stenos, McLeod, Vargas as well. That's going to wrap it up for Indianapolis. Of course, we have a playoff grid to look at, the bracket as well to take a quick glance at before we wrap up this episode. But here's the standings really quick on the Xfinity side of things. Parker Kligerman, the only one in on points currently, and they have Daytona to get through. Larson up to P6 in the playoff grid now with his first win. We have, keep in mind, Vargas will not be in the playoffs. And whoever is going to be in his car. It's Reddick is actually the last one in. This is going to come down to the wire. And if Vargas somehow, or that car stays in the top 30 in the points, I have a plan. So it's not going to be the end of the world. But yeah, let's take a look now at the brackets. We have an exciting one of Larson versus Chastain in the semifinal. As Larson beat me, Chastain beat Truex. And the other matchup in the semifinal from the bottom part of the grid, Logano versus Alex Bowman, who's been able to just kind of push his way through. Now he has to beat Joey Logano as we head to Watkins Glen next episode. I'll see you guys then for the final road course of the regular season. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.